Monday, 12:04 p.m. A city bus brakes hard. People on the sidewalk turn toward a sound they can't immediately place. Then screaming metal. A massive explosion tears across the distant skyline. A second later, every emergency radio in the city comes alive. All units, aircraft down. Repeat, aircraft down. Coordinates incoming. Patrol cars explode out of a precinct lot. Lights already spinning. A helicopter lifts from an airfield, blades cutting faster and faster. A search and rescue truck tears out of a station bay, equipment still being strapped down inside. Copy. En route. ETA 4 minutes. The wreckage is everywhere. A fuselage split open across scorched earth. Torn metal scattered through the grass. Smoke bending sideways in the wind. Sirens converge from every direction. The first patrol cars arrive. Officers jump out before the engines have fully stopped. The rescue truck skids in behind them. Then an ambulance. Kamila and Kamora are out before the vehicle completely stops. EMS uniforms, gloves already on, moving with the instinct of people who've done this too many times to think about it. Multiple casualties. Need everything you've got out here. Kamila and Kamora run into the wreckage. Bodies. Debris. Smoke. Kamila drops beside a crushed section of fuselage. Then, a twitch. A hand. Wait. Kamila tears at the metal. I've got a live one. Kamora, hands. Kamila and Kamora dig together and pull a man free, barely conscious. Blood across his face. Breathing. They get him onto a stretcher. Then Kamora looks back toward the wreckage. Something has caught her eye. Another body. Kamora moves toward it, pulls away a piece of twisted metal, and freezes. There's another man underneath. Same face. Same age. Same features. For half a second, neither sister speaks. That's impossible. Kamila looks over, then back at the two men. They're twins. Kamila and Kamora stare at each other. Two identical men, found 3 feet apart inside a crashed aircraft. Neither one conscious enough to explain who they are. Then Officer Harrison shines his flashlight across the wreckage nearby. His beam stops. A dead man, well-dressed, not a passenger. He is part of a security detail. Officer Harrison crouches. There is a tattoo on the man's neck. Precise. Deliberate. He recognizes it. His expression changes. He turns toward a crushed briefcase lying nearby and forces it open. Documents. A seal. His face drains. Oh hell. He immediately steps away and radios someone in a low voice. Kamila and Kamora don't hear what he says. They don't have time. They're already pushing the two men toward the ambulance. Stay with me. No response. Come on. Stay with me. The ambulance doors slam. The driver floors it. Sirens scream as the vehicle tears away from the wreckage. Inside, Kamila works on one of the men, pressure vitals, while the other lies only a few feet away. Two identical faces. Two lives hanging by a thread. Neither Kamila nor Kamora yet knows who they've just saved. The ambulance races toward the hospital. Officer Harrison follows in his own vehicle, phone still pressed to his ear. Yes, I saw the mark myself. A pause. His expression hardens. No, I didn't know they were on that flight. You're telling me those are the missing sons? Officer Harrison looks toward the ambulance disappearing ahead of him. Now he understands. And Kamila and Kamora, who just saved their lives, have absolutely no idea what they've brought into their world. At this point, I'd advise you grab your popcorn. It gets very interesting from here. Subscribe and like this video, and drop a comment. I'll be in the comments section. The ambulance screeches in. Our staff are already outside waiting. Gurneys ready, doors propped. Kamila and Kamora move the two men out in one practiced motion, running the stretchers toward the doors. What do we have? GCS? Get me 2 units Oneg standing by. The ER doors are close. They're going to make it. As the doors open, Officer Harrison closes the distance fast and catches Kamila's arm just before the doors swing shut. Those 2 in there aren't crash victims. Not really. What are you talking about? The men you just pulled out of that wreckage are the missing sons of one of the most powerful Mafia families in Seoul. Got it confirmed myself 5 minutes ago. Sitting in my car behind your rig. Kamila looks toward the 2 unconscious men. Officer Harrison lowers his voice. Both of you have done your jobs dutifully. I'd advise you to walk away from this the second you can. People who get close to that family don't stay lucky for long. Kamila, gurney's rolling. The doors swallow the 2 men and the sisters. Officer Harrison stands alone in the ambulance bay, the last of the sirens still fading behind him. He doesn't follow them in. Machines beep steady now, not urgent. Both men are stable, bandaged, sedated. Doctors move around them with the routine calm of people no longer worried these 2 will die. Kamila stands in the doorway in street clothes, off shift, not on the schedule here anyway. Kamila doesn't fully step in, just watches. Didn't clock you in today. I'm not here for work. Kamila doesn't explain further, and doesn't need to. Weeks later, he's awake now, sitting up, guarded in the way people are when they've been trained not to trust easily. Kamila sits a chair length away, not close, not far. You don't have to keep coming. I know. Then why do you? Guess I want to see if you make it all the way back before I stop. That means something, coming from you, Yejun? When we turned 18, my sister Kamora and I were forced out of foster care with nothing but our duffel bags. Nobody was there to check if we landed on our feet. Kamila pauses. So yeah, it means everything watching somebody actually make it. It's not warm. It's not cold either. It's the beginning of something neither of them has a name for yet. Down the hall, a lighter mirror of the same scene. He's more talkative, more disarming. Already halfway to charming Kamora out of her guardedness. You saved my life and you still won't tell me your last name. That's not how this works, Minjun. How does it work? You get discharged first. Then we talk. That's extortion. That's HIPAA. Minjun laughs. Really laughs. For what feels like the first time since the crash. After recuperating and being discharged from the hospital, Kamora and Kamila are able to secure an apartment for the brothers. No entourage. No staff. No handlers waiting outside with black cars. Just Yejun and Minjun. Standing in a modest apartment that is nothing like anything they grew up in. Boxes half unpacked around them. Kamora drops a bag of groceries on the counter like it's nothing. Neither of you can cook, can you? We can cook. Prove it. Neither brother can cook. Kamora laughs anyway. Kamila shows Yejun how the thermostat works, how the lock sticks, small, unglamorous domestic things that mean more to Yejun than Kamila realizes. Because no one has ever had to teach him something this small before. Someone always did it for him. I don't think I've ever turned on a stove. Yeah, I could tell. Minjun sits alone on the stairs, somewhere between the apartment and the roof, more still than we've seen him. Kamora finds him there, hesitates, then sits a step below. You're the loud one, Minjun. Loud ones don't usually sit alone in stairwells. Loud was the job. I got good at it before I got good at anything else. Growing up, if I smiled enough, nobody looked too close at what I actually felt. And what do you actually feel? Like I don't know who I am when nobody needs me to perform. I'm still figuring that out. Here, with you guys. Kamora doesn't fill the silence right away. When she finally does, it's simple. Then figure it out loud. I'd rather have the real version badly figured out than the good performance. Minjun looks at Kamora. For the first time, he looks past his own charm. Nobody's ever asked for that before. Kamora bumps shoulders with Minjun. She doesn't say anything else. She doesn't need to. Weeks pass. Kamila, Kamora, Yijun, and Minjun at a diner booth, laughing over something we don't hear. Yijun fumbles through a job application while Kamila looks over his shoulder, correcting a line. He's been trying to get a job to help earn his own way. Minjun now has a job. He works a register somewhere and he's terrible at it. Kamora often shows up to watch him work while trying her best not to laugh. Kamila and Kamora may have left the foster home, but they still donate a significant portion of their earnings to different charities and foster homes. On the fridge, a foster youth charity flyer, and beside it, a torn pay stub with a chunk of each check circled, Kamila and Kamora's standing monthly donation, unremarked on, just part of how they live. Yijun and Minjun had dreams that would explain part of the reason they boarded that flight. A folded acceptance letter, pre-med scholarship, already secured before the crash. Now the one piece of Yijun and Minjun's old life they're keeping. Kamila, Kamora, Yijun, and Minjun on a couch, takeout containers everywhere. They're falling in love with the American way of life, loving what it feels like to live like regular, everyday people. For the first time since our mother died, nobody needed anything from us. We just got to be people. The montage settles on a quiet moment. Kamila and Yijun on a fire escape at night, shoulders almost touching. Can I tell you something you're not going to like? I already know it's coming. Take your time. Yijun doesn't answer. Not yet. Just looks out at the city like it's the first one Yijun has ever really seen. Yijun hasn't answered yet. Kamila doesn't push. You don't have to say anything tonight. I know. I'm not ready yet. Give me a little more time before I lose you. I'm not going anywhere. But I noticed the question didn't disappear. It just went quiet. He doesn't answer that either. Weeks later, the apartment looks lived in now, mismatched mugs, a half-finished puzzle on the coffee table, the ordinary clutter of four people who've built a routine, except the thing Yijun almost said on the fire escape never actually finished. It just got buried under everything since. A phone buzzes on the counter. Yijun glances at it, doesn't pick it up. It buzzes again. You gonna get that? It's nothing. Wrong number. Across the room, Minjun's phone is already face down on the arm of the couch. He doesn't look at it either. Kamila notices. She doesn't say anything yet. She heads out for her shift, keys in hand. Across the lot, a man in an unremarkable dark sedan is parked outside the apartment, engine off, sunglasses on, doing absolutely nothing except watching the building. Kamila has noticed the same man in different vehicles for days now, parked outside and watching their apartment. She clocks him without meaning to and files it away. When Kamila gets back from her shift, she tells Kamora what she saw. Coffee in hand, a rare quiet minute. There was a guy outside the building this morning, just sitting there. Probably nothing. You don't believe that any more than I do. Kamora doesn't answer right away. She's been noticing things too. Minjun going quiet mid-sentence when a call comes in, checking the peephole before he checks who's actually there. At this point, Kamila and Kamora are almost certain that Yijun and Minjun are hiding something. Something's off with both of them. Has been for a couple weeks. You ask him about it? I asked. He changed the subject so smooth I almost didn't notice he did it. Almost. Camilla's phone buzzes on the table. She steps into the hall to take it. It was Officer Harrison, the patrol officer from the ambulance bay all these weeks later, the officer who warned her not to get close. Following up like I said I would. My report went upstairs and got closed out immediately. They're foreign nationals, no local charges. Nothing for us to hold on to. Whatever is coming for those two, it's not coming with badges attached. Just wanted you to know that going in. So we're on our own with this. Looks that way. Watch yourselves. Kamila hangs up. After the call, Kamila doesn't tell Kamora. Not yet. Just files it away with everything else she isn't saying. Later that day, they all set out for dinner, all four of them, and it should feel normal except Yi-jun keeps glancing at the window. Min-jun's laugh is a half-second too fast, like he's covering for something underneath it. Talk to me. It's nothing you need to worry about. That's not what I asked. Yi-jun doesn't have an answer that isn't a lie, and for the first time he doesn't want to lie to her. The silence stretches long enough that Min-jun feels it too. We can't keep doing this to them. No, we can't. Yi-jun looks at Kamila the way he did on the fire escape when he first couldn't get the words out. Like he's about to hand her something he can't take back once it's out. There's something about us we haven't told you. Both of you. Kamila sets her fork down. The apartment goes still. It's not going to be easy to hear. Yi-jun hesitates for a moment, then begins. Our father built his empire on control. In Seoul, his name could make people disappear. But there was one thing even he couldn't control. The day our mother had a seizure, we watched the most powerful man we knew become helpless. Doctors came and went. Machines kept her alive for as long as they could. And our father stood there with everything his empire could buy, unable to save her. That was the day we made our choice. We would never inherit his empire. We didn't want his power, his violence, or the life he had planned for us. We wanted to become doctors. We wanted to save people. 8 months before the crash, we secretly applied for pre-med scholarships in America. When we were accepted, we knew it was our chance to disappear. Only one person knew the truth. Junpyo. He had been our friend and protector since childhood, but somewhere along the way he became family. When we told him we were leaving, he didn't try to stop us. He chose to help us. Together, we planned everything: new identities, travel documents, new phones, a route far beyond our father's reach. We knew his network could follow us to America, so we moved carefully and watched our backs. Then the moment came. The three of us boarded that flight, believing we were finally leaving our father's world behind. Junpyo stood by us until the very end. But he never made it out of that flight alive. Both brothers fall silent. They lower their heads at the same time, a quiet tribute to the friend who gave his life helping them become free. Then they look back at Kamila and Kamora. We lost him that day, but we never forgot what he did for us. We've been watching our backs ever since, because we know our father won't stop until he finds us. He always does. Kamila and Kamora sit in silence that has weight to it now. Kamila's gone quiet, drawn into herself. Kamora hasn't moved. So the tattoo, the briefcase, the officer, that was real. All of it. The man who died on the flight, Junpyo, neck tattoo, briefcase full of documents with a seal on them. Were you ever going to tell us? Or were we just supposed to find out when it showed up at our door? I wanted to tell you the first week. I didn't know how to say it without losing you. That wasn't your choice to make for us. Nobody has a clean answer to that. The silence sits there, ugly and honest. We didn't run from him to hurt anyone. We ran because staying meant becoming him. Everything since the hospital, that's the first time either of us has gotten to choose anything for ourselves. Kamila doesn't soften right away, but she doesn't get up and leave either. I need time, Yi-jun. Take as much time as you want, Kamila. I'm not going anywhere. Kamila looks at Yi-jun the way she did that first day in the recovery room, and for a second it's not clear if that's a promise or a warning. The apartment stays quiet a long time after that. A few days after she asked for time, Kamila is in the hallway outside the apartment, keys in hand, not going in yet, the kind of pause that means she's been standing here longer than a few seconds. The door opens before she knocks, like he somehow knew. You don't have to come in, Kamila. I know, Yi-jun. I'm not here because the time's up. I'm here because I missed you more than I was angry, and I hate that. That gets him. Not a smile. Something quieter. I'm not going to pretend I understand what it cost you to say that. Good. Don't. Just don't lie to me again. About anything. Even the small stuff. I won't. I don't want to be the kind of man who has to. She steps inside. She doesn't say anything else. He closes the door behind her like he's closing something else too. Minjun and Kamora look up from the couch, no big reaction. Just relief that doesn't need announcing. They make room for her on the couch. Kamila sits. You good. Getting there. Nobody makes it a bigger moment than it needs to be. That's how you know it's real. Back in Seoul, months after the crash, things are heating up. Do-hyun is growing more agitated as every lead comes back cold. But something is about to change significantly. The crash had reached him through fragmented reports weeks earlier, but the information had never been enough to confirm what he feared. The passenger manifest was incomplete. The identities were concealed. His sons had planned their escape carefully, and the man assigned to watch them had disappeared with them. Junpyo had built the cover himself. Forged travel documents, a manifest seeded with names that led nowhere, a paper trail engineered to survive exactly the kind of search his own employer's people would run. He had spent years learning how the organization tracked people down, specifically so he could make sure it never tracked down these two. What he hadn't planned on was the one piece of the cover he couldn't fake his way around. The seal locked in his own briefcase, the mark inked into his own skin, both found within the hour by a beat cop who happened to have sat through the one training slide that made sense of them. A network built to survive paperwork was never built to survive a crash scene. The search has dragged on far longer than Do-hyun ever expected, chasing a trail that was never meant to lead anywhere. Phones on every surface. Aides moving in and out. He hasn't slept properly in what looks like a long time. It shows only in the tightness around his eyes, nowhere else. Nothing new, sir. 2 months of dead ends now. People do not vanish. They are hidden or they are hiding. Find out which. The aide leaves fast. He stands at the window, looking out at a city he owns pieces of, unable to locate the two people who matter more than any of it. A different aide enters, and something in his posture makes the father go still before a word is said. Sir, there's a report. Passenger flight out of Texas. The manifest is still being confirmed, but they were on board under a pseudonym. Our intel confirms it's them. Then the manifest is wrong. Sir, confirm it again. He doesn't raise his voice. The refusal in his face is total, the first crack. Even if he doesn't know it yet. The same aide returns. This time he doesn't get further than the doorway before the father reads it on his face. It's confirmed, sir. They were on that plane. They're alive, sir. Discharged months ago. There's an address. An apartment in Texas. Something moves behind his eyes. Relief and fury arriving at exactly the same moment. Fighting for the same space. Get the plane ready. Black cars, more than the lot really has room for, parked at angles that block half the spaces. Do-hyun steps out, flanked by bodyguards and aides, dressed like he's arriving at a boardroom, not a modest apartment building. Kamila and Kamora, just pulling in after a shift, stop cold at the sight of it. That's a lot of security for a welfare check. That's not a welfare check. That's an extraction. He enters alone, waving his men off at the door. They wait on the landing outside, filling the small hallway. Yi-jun and Min-jun rise from the couch as Do-hyun steps in, a med school textbook and a tip jar labeled tuition still sitting on the coffee table behind them. The temperature in the room drops. You're coming home today. The plane is already waiting. We're not going anywhere. This isn't a request. It doesn't have to be. We're still not going. His control flickers just slightly. He notices, for the first time, the small things in the room that don't belong to his world. 2 names on a mailbox key rack by the door. A jacket that isn't either of his sons draped over a chair. Who are they? The 2 women. People who saved our lives. That's all you need to know. Do-hyun finds Kamila and Kamora waiting outside, giving the family privacy. He approaches, composed again, the mask fully back on. You're the ones who pulled my sons out of that wreckage. We're the ones who do that job for anyone who needs it. Thank you. I mean that, which is why I want to make sure you're taken care of. $2.5 million. Each, $5 million total. For what you did, and to make sure you're not inconvenienced by anything that follows. Kamora's expression doesn't move. Kamila's doesn't either, but something flickers behind her eyes. There and gone. $5 million is not an abstraction to Kamila, a woman who aged out of the system with a duffel bag and nothing else. It's every kid still waiting on a check that might not come. For 1 second, she lets herself see it. Then she puts it away. That's not why we did it. I'm not questioning why you did it. I'm telling you what it's worth. It's a good sum of money, enough for a fresh start, a decent apartment at least. Most people don't make this kind of money in a lifetime. We're not for sale, and neither is whatever this is with your sons. Keep the money. He studies them both a long moment, recalculating, the way a man does when the tool he always reaches for doesn't work for the first time in his life. Alone now with just his sons, having asked Kamila and Kamora to stay outside a while longer. The performance is gone. What's left is quieter, older, more tired. I built all of it for you. Every piece. You built it for the 2 of us to inherit something we never wanted. I can't remember our own ideas, dreams, and aspirations ever matching. It was always about the family business. Your mother used to say I'd lose you both to something I couldn't fight with money. I told her that was impossible. I think about that conversation more than any other I've ever had. For the first time, real grief moves across his face. Not performed, not strategic. Just a father who watched his wife die and never learned how to say so out loud until right now. Then you understand why we left. I understand you think medicine will fix what her death broke in you. It won't. Nothing does. Maybe not. But it's the only thing we've ever wanted to try. He doesn't have an answer for that. For the first time in the conversation, he looks less like a syndicate head and more like a man who has run out of leverage. He still doesn't yield. You have until the end of the month. Come home, both of you, or I'll be forced to make a very drastic decision. You could lose your inheritance. All of it. Every account. Every holding. Every door our name has ever opened for you. I won't ask a 3rd time. He leaves without waiting for an answer. By the end of the month, Do-hyun returns. Ijun, Minjun, Kamila, and Kamora sit together. A countdown that isn't on any clock in the room but everyone feels anyway. Midnight and it's gone. All of it. I know. Midnight comes. No phone call. No plane ticket. Nothing dramatic, just a deadline passing like any other minute, except this one takes an entire inheritance with it. I think I just found what actually makes me happy. Not what. Who. Minjun looks at Kamila and Kamora as he says it. Nobody needs it explained further. Do-hyun receives the confirmation. The deadline's passed. The sons haven't called. He sits with it a long moment, alone. No aides in the room to perform for. Sir. Instructions on the accounts. Leave them as they are. They're still my sons. That doesn't change because they said no to me. He doesn't disown them. It's the one thing the empire never trained him to do. He didn't do it. Having seen how resilient and determined his sons are, Do-hyun now understands they've chosen their own path, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Before flying home, Do-hyun finds his sons outside the building one more time. He offers a black centurion card, holding it out without a word at first. Take it, just until you're back on your feet. That's not a condition. I'm speaking to you now as a father who's concerned. It doesn't matter anymore whether you stay or come home. Yi-jun and Min-jun reach out and take the black centurion card from him. He looks at both of them a moment longer than he needs to. You're all I have left. He turns and walks away before either of them can answer that. This time he doesn't come back. Yi-jun and Min-jun resolve they won't use the card unless it's for a health emergency. They take it to make their father happy, then hide it somewhere they won't see it anytime soon. Back in the apartment, everything is different now, more lived in, more theirs. Textbooks stacked on the counter next to a coffee maker. A whiteboard with a class schedule taped to the fridge. Yi-jun studies at the table, scrubs from a part-time hospital job still on. Kamila leans against the counter, half watching him, half doing her own paperwork. You're going to be an insufferable doctor. You know that? Learned it from watching you boss around an entire hour. Across the hall, Min-jun, in a work polo from some unglamorous day job, counts cash tips into a jar labeled tuition in Kamora's handwriting. Kamora leans in the doorway, arms crossed, watching him fail to count correctly for the third time. That's not how math works. It's close enough. It is not close enough. Min-jun laughs, gives up, and hands Kamora the jar. Kamora takes over without being asked twice. This is what their life looks like now, not glamorous, not funded by anyone's empire, entirely theirs. Yi-jun, still in scrubs, exhausted, falls asleep on Kamila's shoulder on the couch, a med school textbook still open on his lap. Min-jun and Kamora sit at a tiny kitchen table, splitting a bill down to the dollar, laughing about it instead of stressing over it. Kamila, Kamora, Yi-jun, and Min-jun at that same diner booth from months ago. Busier now, older somehow, easier. An envelope with Korean postage arrives. No note inside. Just a photo of their mother, young, laughing. A version of her neither son ever really got to know. Yi-jun holds it a long moment. He doesn't call the number that isn't written anywhere on it. Just keeps the photo. We spent our whole lives being groomed to inherit something we never asked for. Turns out the only inheritance that mattered was the one we built ourselves. Nobody's money in the room, nobody's name doing the work for us. Kamila, Kamora, Yi-jun, and Min-jun, up on the building's modest rooftop, city lights instead of a syndicate skyline. No bodyguards, no black cars, no card with anyone's name on it. To the two most wanted men in Seoul, working minimum wage in Texas. Best decision we ever made. Yi-jun looks at Kamila, really looks at her, the way he did on that fire escape months ago, except now there's nothing left unsaid between them. I told you I wasn't going anywhere. Good, because neither am I. The city hums beneath them. Sometimes love asks for everything you have, the money, the name, the whole life you were promised, and for a while, walking away looks like the worst decision you'll ever make. But every so often, it turns out to be the only decision that was ever really yours. That's the one that lasts. If you enjoyed stories like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment your favorite part of the story below.